All right, and for more on this, let's now bring in Professor Jan Havenga. He is a professor for logistics at Stellenbosch University and he joins us now live. Professor, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. I mean, let's start off here. Let's firstly get your reaction when it comes to the World Bank rankings for ports in the world. And of course, South Africa, they're being ranked as the lowest from 403 ports.
Thank you for the invite. And I have to say that your intro that you've prepared here is actually quite good. It's been very thoroughly investigated and correct. What I hear is exactly correct. And there's three things. For me, there's three messages. The one is our ports is not as great as it should be. We know that. A lot of us know that. And the second very important message, it's very true, that the management of Transnet has put in a concerted effort to change this around. We must remember that I know that Peter has referred to Michelle Phillips there. She's been in charge for 18 months now. And what they have achieved in 18 months is actually quite magnificent. Done a lot of hard work, and it's not going to be fixed immediately. But they've done a lot of hard work. We see the new equipment coming in. We see new leadership coming in the ports itself. We see middle management doing the work that they're supposed to do. So that is also true. And the third point for me is this index is really quite thin. I would not, I think it measures a simple thing. It measures dwell time in a port. That is, I would not call it a performance index because it needs so much more. There's so much missing in this one. The relationship between port capacity and turnaround time. The reference that was made to the Suez Canal here is very important. And what we must understand, if something like that happens in global shipping, it has not an equal effect on all ports. Some ports will be affected much more if suddenly you close the Suez Canal and suddenly you open the Suez Canal. The differences are just so much. So I think this index requires a little bit of improvement. It really does.
And Professor, would you say some of the pressures from the Red Sea has then resulted in the issue that South Africa faces and now being placed last from 403 countries or 403 ports?
I think there's quite a few issues like that, and that is an important one. It is an important one because we don't see the relationship between capacity, planned capacity. I mean, if I were to do an index like this, I would look at quite a few other things. I would say, what was my time appointment with the ship, and when did the ship arrive, and how does it compare? Because sometimes ships dwells in ports for more than one reason. It's also got to do with the logistics behind the port, etc. And these things all have to be taken into account. You can't just look at something as simple as dwell time. Yes, but our ports do require improvement. And the one thing that's important to me that we must not forget, which is actually a little bit sad if you think about this index that is not, I would say, not complete enough. I would say it requires more work, this index. What is sad is that it still reminds us of the fact that we do need economic reform in South Africa. And some of the commentators before me has talked about that. We need to get the private sector in, and we need economic reform. I think the current team at Transnet is doing well, but we must also remember we never want to get back into the situation that we are now. And in order to fix that, we do need some changes in the way in which we do these things. And there, we need the private sector in. We do.
And Professor, one would then also ask, I mean, when it comes to ports in any country, it's very important in terms of the economic opportunities it brings and, to create even, economic growth in a country. What does it then do when you see ports in this country being ranked at such a low number?
I think two things. The one is, yes, there where we need improvement, we must make this improvement. It's extremely important for trade in South Africa. It's important for us to get our commodities to the sea. It's important for us to export as much as we like. We've had some serious problems in the past. I mean, there was reference made to the citrus season a year or two ago, and it created problems for us. I think that is important, and we need to understand that we don't want to get into a problem like that. At the same time, our ports are improving. And it is getting better. And what's sad then is that this message, I think, is not complete. And it is not 100% correct. And that is sad, and I think it has to be fixed. The message as well. It's in a message.
And Professor, lastly, before I let you go, I mean, is the private sector the only answer in improving the country's ports?
No, it is not only the private sector. I mean, in the first place, what we need to see, and I think the Minister of Transport is putting a lot of effort into this, we need to see the split properly done between the Ports Authority and port terminals. Progressive ports around the world, that split is quite clear. That needs to be done. And I say it needs to be done, it is being done. The Ports Act of 2005 very clearly says that this is the way that we should go. I think that split now needs to happen. And then once it's happened, then government's role in keeping the Port Authority well equipped in terms of marine services and so on is very clear, and government must play that role. And the private sector's role in running port terminals is then very clear. And up to now, we've not had that split. Although I say we haven't had it, we have an act that says that's what it's supposed to be. We have a minister, as far as I know, that's working very hard to actually make sure that that act is implemented. And she has the cooperation of the current Transnet leadership. And that's why I say we must not lose sight of reform. The reform is still required, but it is happening. And I'm not concerned that it's not receiving the attention that it should.
Professor, thank you so much for your time. That's Professor Jan Havenga from Stellenbosch University. He is a professor in logistics.